to continue our thoughts on Mark chapter 2 and this whole idea of these friends that this paralytic had. You know, this guy, the only space that he knew was this mat. And we don't know how long he was paralyzed for. I mean, maybe from birth, maybe he had an accident and lost everything, and not just his home and whatever, but you know, his friends and whatnot. And so here he is. He's incapable of moving, incapable of working, and he's become completely and solely dependent upon some friends. I wonder what it would be like for us to reach out to people who are like that, to people who have no way to ever pay us back, to be friends to people who don't have any other friends, to be kind and generous and compassionate for people who just have no one. When I think of people who are in those kind of situations, you know, I don't see a lot of people running out to be friends to them. In fact, a lot of times my heart does. It breaks when I see folks who are in different situations like that, where it seems like they don't have a lot of friends, and I just think it's, you know, it's sad. And I think there's something that all of us could do about it. And yet it's like, why don't we? Why don't we do more? These four men who were this guy's friend were incredible. I mean, they would have had to have been incredible guys. Just think of the amount of sacrifice it would be for them to every day get up and not just carry yourself, which requires, you know, some motivation for some of us to get someplace, you know, but to know, okay, today I've got to get up and not just get myself to this place, but I've got to be part of getting someone else to this place. Now think about what kind of commitment and love and sacrifice, you know, that would take to do that for someone who wouldn't be able to get there at all, ever, unless I contribute, unless I do something about it. And so these four guys, that's the kind of people they are. And they are so committed to getting their friend to Jesus that they all have that same vision, that same goal, and yet they have a different part to play in getting their friend there. Each one of them has, you know, a different corner of the mat, and if this one friend doesn't do what he's going to do, well then, you know, that part of the mat's dropping, and people are getting hurt. You know, this paralytic is falling off, and he doesn't have anything that he can even offer. He's completely and solely dependent upon their friends, his friends, getting him there. You know, I think about church and events and conferences and stuff that I go to, and I've been guilty of saying this before. Maybe you have too. But I said, well, you know, it was okay, but I didn't really get anything out of it. I wonder what it would be like for us if we went to a conference or an event or even church, and we didn't say, well, you know, I wonder what I'm going to get out of it. Instead of saying that, we said, well, I wonder what I can give to this. I wonder how I can contribute to this, whether it's through corporate worship or maybe giving financially or prayerfully. I look at these guys, and they're just in such stark contrast to the rest of the group who are there. And maybe the rest of these people brought someone with them. I mean, I'm sure there were probably people who did with their friends. You know, hey, let's go check out Jesus. He's at this house and he's done some cool things, and let's go be part of that event. And there are so many of those people who are there. I mean, in fact, it tells us that the entire house is just packed with people. And yet all those people they just seem to be so different from these four guys who are bringing this paralytic, and they can't get in. They can't get in because everybody else is there who are saying, I can't get anything out of this. These guys are just incredible guys. And even though they can't get in, they don't stop. They don't give up on the goal, on the mission. They don't give up on their friend. And just think about how incredible that is. For them to not allow the crowd and the people to obstruct the mission. And their mission's not just to get him there, and not just to get him in and then dump him. It's not to just complete the task. They're committed to a person. I wonder what it would be like for us to dream of becoming like one of these friends. To truly be a friend to the friendless. To be willing to give to people who will never repay us, who will never be able to do anything for us, but that we would be so committed to getting them to Jesus that we would be willing to do anything, even if that meant getting out of the way. I think it's so crazy that Jesus has come to bind up the brokenhearted, to set the captives free, to heal those who are sick, and yet all of these people are jammed in this room, and the one perhaps who needs him the most can't even get in. So if I can encourage you today and this week and through this passage, could I encourage you of dreaming of becoming that kind of person? One who's not just going to an event to get something out of it, but who would use an event to get someone in. And that if you are part of that event and you see something like that going down, that you would make room, that you would make space for those people to get to Jesus.